Hello, folks, and welcome to High Fever, the best Indiana Fever basketball podcast in the contiguous United States. I'm your host, Josh Barcenas. 89-87 Chicago Sky come to Indianapolis and take down the Fever. Chicago goes to 8-9. Indiana falls to 5-11. We'll go through some game leaders. Courtney Williams, 28, and Alyssa Smith, 27 points. Elizabeth Williams puts up 9 rebounds, and Alyssa Smith with 8 rebounds. And Courtney Williams, 8 assists. Kelsey Mitchell with 8. Close game. Close game at the end there. Couldn't get it done. I don't know. What's new? Alright, we'll walk through this. From the beginning, just tough. They did not look in it. I mean, it's the kind of thing where I thought they were kind of cooked. It didn't really feel like there was a lot of intensity. It felt like the Chicago Sky had something to prove. You know, their head coach just got hired by the Toronto Raptors, and so they have like an interim head coach. And I feel like, I mean, first off, I don't know how common that is to happen, to have a coach just be taken away in the middle of a season. But yeah, I felt like they had something to say, something to, I don't know, maybe prove. Kind of had a chip on their shoulder. So the Chicago Sky came out ready, and they were firing on all cylinders. Let me say this: the Lexi Hall fan club is on its last leg. The Lexi Hall fan club has seen better days because it started out rough, I think, for the whole team. And Lexi Hall in particular was just, I don't know. It wasn't what the team needed, I think. She's still in the starting lineup. I'll be honest with you, I don't know for how much longer. Because they had Caldwell play 27. Lexi Hall played 13. So I think as far as a guard goes, I think that Chrissy Sides is starting to like Caldwell a little more. I'm not sure if I'm sold yet, because of course I am the founder and proprietor of the Lexi Hall fan club, and so it's getting harder and harder to defend our our player because she was just not good. She just was kind of bad, and she was not in down the stretch. So we'll go through here. They it just wasn't the right first quarter, 4 first quarter turnovers, and I was like, oh my god, a sloppy play again. It seemed like they were rushing, which is a common thing this season because they always, Christy Sides is like, oh, we're going to play this fast. Okay, if you're going to play it fast, then let's maybe do it right, or, I don't know. I don't know what needs to happen or what needs to change in practice where they can finally say, hey, okay, enough with this. Let's get this right and stop going, so fast that we turn the ball over. It seems like down the stretch, and we'll talk about the third quarter and the fourth quarter, but it seems like the best parts of the games are when they kind of slow it down and they're a little bit more methodical and not just kind of like running as fast as they can and I see maybe an open person, turnover. It's like, or we'll talk about this too, is offensive foul. That was a big problem today. So it just looked bad. The Sky were holding on. They were doing really good. They got the score up to 14 in the third. And by that point, is usually when this team just kind of like, okay, whatever. Like, we're just going to run out there and we'll chuck a couple shots. It'll get to 20, and then we'll be just totally done. To their credit, they clawed their way back. It was on the backs of Kelsey Mitchell. It was on the back of Christy Wallace. It was a good comeback. Alyssa Smith, right, goes 11 for 16. Kelsey Mitchell goes 10 for 21. And I don't know. I'm not going to say that teams are starting to figure out Aaliyah Boston, but I think in the last couple games she hasn't had as much of a surprise impact. It's kind of been like, okay, yeah, she's gonna get bored, she's gonna get points, but she hasn't been taking teams by surprise. And so I think this comeback um, was on the back of Mitchell Smith and Chrissy Wallace. So they come back, they bring it within 7 at first. It was 14. They get it within 7 early in the third, and then by the end of the third, they got it. They got it close, and then in the fourth they tied it. And it was it was less than 5, and I'm sitting there like, oh my god, okay, we need to shore it up. They go and just do back-to-back offensive turnovers. Now, I have to say, I'm going to say something about the refs. I haven't spoken too much on the refs this season, because honestly they've been pretty damn solid. Like I don't have that much to complain about. But I think in this game in particular, the refs were a little hot on the whistle, and it wasn't Aaliyah Boston, which I thought was kind of amazing. It was mostly, I feel like it was mostly this guy. I think they got a lot of personal fouls. I'm looking here. Aaliyah Boston had 3 personal fouls. Kelsey Mitchell actually had 5, which is probably all those offensive fouls. But man, it was just like it felt like on the offensive side of the ball they just weren't clicking, and then when they got it close, they couldn't take the lead. So we'll talk about the end of the game here. So coming down, they the Sky go up 2, right, on a pretty unlucky tip out. They just kind of shove it in, and they go up 2. Timeout, 16 seconds left. Timeout is, it's time to call a play. It's time to put together something where you can get a solid shot. And that just that did not happen. They go up. They miss a shot by Caldwell, which was, listen, I don't know about Chrissy Sides. I think she's a pretty good head coach. I don't think that the Caldwell 3 was on the play call, right? I don't think she wrote that down on the whiteboard. Caldwell takes what is, I have to be a little critical here. It's a wide open 3. She takes it and misses. Chrissy Wallace goes up, gets the Sky to knock it out of bounds. 2 seconds left. Okay. Time to go here. It's time to go to, plan B. I'm not really sure if plan A was executed, correctly, but it's time to go to plan B. And plan B was apparently, I don't know. Plan B was apparently scramble, and so Chrissy Wallace took it out of inbounds the ball and passed it to she passes it to Mitchell, right? Mitchell takes a shot and misses, and game over. And I'm thinking to myself, that was probably the right play. And I think we just got unlucky. But it strikes me as kind of insane that this team is so good. Like, if you can get this team into a crunch time situation, they're pretty damn good. It's just I don't know what happens between quarters 1 and 3.5 to where they just kind of sometimes. And it's sometimes they go out and they play intense. I'm thinking back to the Aces game where they were intense. They were it seemed like they wanted this. It seemed like they wanted to win. And then sometimes, even we were home. They said on the broadcast, 12 of the first 16 are away from home. And it's dude, we're back home. We're ready to go, and they just can't get it done. So I'm not gonna, I think it's okay. We're coming up on the halfway point, and we need to. I think we need to get to a couple more wins. I'm looking at the standings. We're only number 10. If we're thinking about the playoffs this year, let's win against some of these easier teams. And honestly, I'm looking at the schedule, and the schedule just does not get easier. It goes the Lynx, Mystics, Wings, Liberty. That's just not, that's just not what you want to see. I don't know. I am just here commentating on these games, or giving my thoughts. I'm not a coach or anything, so I can't you know give that perspective. But it looks like this team is starting to finally get a little more comfortable with each other, kind of knowing where each other's at, working with some of the rookies, and they're kind of coalescing here. I kind of like it. I don't know what is going to happen as far as trades. I'm not sure if that's anything on the table. I feel like the Lexi Hall fan club might have to disband because she could be on the table. Unfortunately, if she doesn't improve, we will, I guess, see. But kind of an all around a comeback. Unfortunately, not the kind where you win, but they got it within 2 from 14. So, Lynx next in Minnesota. So another road trip, woohoo, on Wednesday, and I will see you then.